Welcome to another daily roundup of Russian Telegram chatter. Your like and subscribe to my channel would really be appreciated. Subscription is free and it only takes a moment of your time. I monitor and translate Russian Telegram chat channels as a general mood check so you don't have to. Remember, please do your own research and be wary of propaganda and disinformation, which occurs frequently in Russian chat, especially when there is bad news for Russians concerning the country's illegal and genocidal war in Ukraine. The images used in the video are for illustration purposes only. They do not necessarily represent the issues or translations. And finally, please note, the chat is unverified and I do not endorse the views expressed. Right, let's get on with it. On Telegram today, do you need a lift today? So do thousands of residents in Moscow. Residents of the Moscow residential complex Zagorje are facing a real problem. 5 out of 8 elevators have been broken for several months, which is why people have to wait 40 to 60 minutes to get home. Apartments there cost 10 to 20 million rubles, and residents are forced to walk up every day, sometimes up to the 45th floor. The dollar was above 100 rubles on Forex at one point. Remember when Putin promised in his election propaganda that the ruble would come down to 50 this year because he is such a genius? Tatarstan intends to submit to the State Duma a bill allowing the seizure of property of citizens who have left Russia for actions directed against the interests of the country. A similar proposal was already put forward last year, and the government gave a positive response, but demanded that the document be revised. The bill proposes allowing administrative cases to be initiated against persons who have left Russia and the seizure of property if they try to avoid responsibility. Chinese automakers have filled all warehouses in Russia with their cars. This is how the Chinese want to protect themselves in case sanctions are lifted and European companies return to the market. If the European auto industry returns to Russia, it will simply have nowhere to place its vehicles, said Sergei Maximov, head of the Union of Transport Workers, Forwarders and Logisticians of Siberia. Russians' money spent on Chinese cars goes to China, complains Avtovaz Vice President Dmitry Kostromyn. According to him, Lada's share of the car market is only 11%. This means that only 11% of the funds spent on purchasing new cars remain in the Russian economy, while the rest of the funds go to China. The US threatens Turkey with swift cutoff over trade with Russia. Because of this, Ankara is forced to reduce trade turnover with Moscow, said Vatan Party Deputy Chairman Hakan Topkarulu. The Russian federal budget deficit, according to the preliminary estimate of the Ministry of Finance, for January to September 2024 amounted to 169 billion rubles, the ministry's website reports. Budget revenues for the reporting period amount to 26.289 trillion rubles, which is 33.2% more than a year earlier. Expenses reached 26.120 trillion rubles, an increase of 23.3%. Romania notifies Russia that it is closing its consulate in Rostov-on-Don, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. The Supreme Court in Slovakia believes that prosecutors have not yet provided sufficient evidence that the assassination attempt on Prime Minister Robert Fico in mid-May was a terrorist act, as reported by the Actuality portal. The Constitutional Court of Georgia refused to suspend the law on foreign agents, despite demands from the president, opposition, media, and NGOs. The Russian-registered company Shell Oil and Gas Development, which is part of the British energy company Shell, has decided to liquidate itself, according to data from the Unified State Register of Legal Entities. 2025 will give Russia's economy a harsh slap in the face. Doctor of Economics and former advisor to the President of the Russian Federation on financial issues, Alexei Andreevich Evstignev, gives a disappointing forecast for the next 6 months. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I also leave comments open for feedback, which I really appreciate. You can view my original posts in much more detail on Twitter. Follow me, Beefeater Sham Fella. My research threads also include full references and sources to speed up your own research. Did you know that I also provide daily updates and deep dive research videos on a range of interesting subjects, including economics, geopolitics, sanctions, circumventions, fossil fuel updates, and much more. If you're able to support me with a coffee or subscription on Patreon, I do provide links in the description of the video. I really appreciate all the support I can get towards my research, equipment, and publication costs. Thank you. To those who have supported me on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, you are simply awesome. Your regular support is really appreciated. Remember, folks, the YouTube edition of my Russian Telegram chat translations is released every night at midnight, UK time. Have a great day. I look forward to your next visit.